Hello there, vinyl community and YouTube. It's time to do a review of this main summer month of July when it comes to record findings. Normally July is a great month for record buying. There are flea markets at people's gardens here and there, and July normally is one of the months where I buy the most records. But this month it hasn't been all that great, unfortunately. I think it has something to do with the major heat that we have been having that makes people hesitate of working and putting out things in their garden and stand out there in the sun the whole day. There has been some out in the countryside, which is a little harder for me that doesn't have a car. I have to go by the bus. But here in the main part it has been a little bit slower, unfortunately. So I have a whole lot of CDs to show, but those come from my normal thrift stores that I go to each and every month. Some vinyls I have, but nothing really special. And a few vinyl singles also. Not much though. I bought this one, Roxette's Joyride, in thinking that I didn't have it, but it turns out that I did. But as you can see, there are two different sleeves, but that doesn't affect me at all, so I will most likely give one of these away. Then we have some Swedish comedy with comedian Martin Ljung, comedian Povel Ramel, along with Wenche Myhre. This is a single I've been looking for, actually. And comedian Povel Ramel again. So when it comes to full-length vinyls, it has been a very, very slow month. So I hope that August will be a whole lot better. But on the other hand, I have a lot to go through from Uppsala. You might wonder if I'm going to show the stuff from Uppsala here. No, I won't, because I will continue to do my travelogue from Uppsala, my three-part travelogue from Uppsala, and my findings will be there in those videos. So let's start with Swedish rock singer Mikael Rickfors, an album where he does a whole lot of covers. Tracks of My Tears, Ain't No Sunshine, soul covers, which was a little bit of unusual since this is a rock and roll guy, and Boom Boom, John Lee Hooker's Boom Boom, and Hold On I'm Coming. And I'm gonna say, check out his version of Hold On I'm Coming, because that one really is a thriller. It's a really, really great one. A whole lot of horns that blows you away. Swedish Schlager singer Anita Lindblom. There are a whole lot of compilations with her out there, but I think in this case I managed to actually find it, an original one from the 60s. Small, small bubblor. Small, small bubbles. Now, the rest here is international. We have Break Machine and Break Dance Party. Believe it or not, I don't have this one actually. Containing, of course, street dance. You remember. Despite my try of singing. This one I didn't know what to make of it, but I bought it because I have a feeling that this might be something that is just a little so stupid that it might be actually funny. Even though I've heard parts of him singing. Telly Savalas, Kojak, and his album Telly from 1974. As I said, I don't make heads or tails of this, but it's going to be very, very interesting. Curiosity made me buy it. I normally don't do blind buys, but I don't really consider that a blind buy. Could be good, could be bad, could be funny, could be hilarious, could be boring, who knows. As you remember, I got Go-Go's album in present by Robert Z, a Japanese pressing, so I felt like, of course, I gotta have other one with Go-Go's, The Beauty and the Beat, with Our Lips Are Sealed. 1981. I have been cutting down, as I said in my response to the rules thread that is going on in the violin community. I have cut down on Hammond organ buyings. I think that I have so much Hammond organ albums with different unknown Hammond organists that I haven't heard from or seen an album with since, so I've been concentrating on some organists that I actually do like, that I have fantastic albums with. And one of them are Claude Martinelli, that have released one of the best Hammond albums that I have, actually. Potpourri mit Claude Martinelli, Hammond Orgel und Rhythmusgruppe, Rhythm Group. Hammond at Midnight, Volume 2. Different kind of a mix. Most of these are German songs, actually, but they're instrumental. Boomtown Rats, Mondo Bongo, 1979 or 1980, I think, something like that. And we have this one I have actually listened to, fantastic album, Lee Ritenour, Color It from 1989. This is smooth jazz in its best, real smooth. Lot of instrumental songs, a lot of with vocal by Phil Perry, and it is real smooth soul jazz at its best. Check out the song Malibu, a ballad that really is so fantastic played, fantastic produced, really soothing and really relaxing. I really love that song. Maybe one of the best. I have a lot of Lee Ritenour albums, but this might be one of the best that I have. I actually been to one flea market out in the fields, and that was a garden market that they had near our big buying market, Bista. It was a guy who had a flea market out in his garden. At first, I didn't find any thing at all. I asked if he had any records, and he actually had in his garage. And I found myself the records that I also showed, and this one was no problems. This is with talked about it before, Lester Young with some of these younger musicians that he played with in the late 40s, Jesse Drake, Jerry Elliott, Junior Mans, and so on, Leo Jackson, young guys hungry for playing jazz. I have some songs with them, but none of these actually. So very happy to find this one in a garage, along with a whole lot of dancing orchestras and easy listening and classical. This one was a bit disappointing though, because I realized when I got home that I have it in a later release. This is the same album. The problem is that I don't know if I will keep this one, because I have this one with part 1 and part 2, and they look same to this one. They're in the same series, so it would be kind of foolish to let this go and then split the series just to have an original one that looks totally different. So I don't know, most likely I will give this to my friend Otto, who likes jazz also. So those were the vinyls. Now let's go to the big stack of CDs, which also contains a big stack of jazz also, but also some other stuff from Återbruket, where I actually managed to find a great deal of 70s albums on CDs. I was a little hesitating because many of these I actually want on vinyl, but I felt like I don't know when that will happen, so until I see, so why not? If I found them in a very low price on vinyl, who knows, I might buy it, but format doesn't actually bother me. But I guess since I started vinyl community, I've been a little bit more focusing on vinyl, but I couldn't resist them because they only costed $1 on CD. So I found Fleetwood Mac, this self-title, on CD. Couldn't resist for $1. And speaking of Fleetwood Mac, I also managed to find at the Red Cross at Alnö. Well, managed to find this compilation with Fleetwood Mac's earlier material and Christine McVie, aka Christine Perfect here, and their 60s releases. I bought this because I haven't heard Christine Perfect in its earlier material, and I am, besides Albatross, I'm not all that familiar with the Fleetwood Mac 60s recordings. I've heard a little some that wasn't all my taste. So, but I felt like, why not? For $1 I can give it a try and see whether I like it or not. I like Christian Perfect's songs. They were really, really good. Fleetwood Mac songs, aside from Albatross, is a great song, but the Peter Green era is a little too blues rocky for me. It's not my taste at all. So I most likely will not start to collect 60s Fleetwood Mac. But I will most likely keep this one still because of Christine Perfect, at least until I find real albums with her. Now back to the $1 albums from Återbruket. How about this box set with double CD box set with Deep Purple, this compilation, the complete disc anthology. The discs themselves were in really great shape. Unfortunately, it's missing the 24-page booklet, but for $1 this was really great. Deep Purple with 2.5 hour Deep Purple music, so little not perfect sleeve, but still for $1 it was a really great catch. And I found some David Bowie. I bought this one station to station, realizing that I actually had this one on vinyl. Bought it pretty recently. I'm getting old, I guess. My mind slips. I'm getting hard to remember what I buy. But this one contains a couple of bonus tracks, so I will keep these anyway. I bought Bowie Pinups. This is one of the 70s David Bowie that I have the least expectations. I heard some songs when I bought the first David Bowie albums at HK a couple of years ago, and it wasn't my taste. It was way too much glam rock and sweet stuff for me. This is David Bowie's glam rock album, and it wasn't my taste at all. But I want David Bowie's 80s and 70s and maybe 60s complete, so I guess I get to have it. So then I thought that why not? I can buy it on CD for $1, so at least have it. Doesn't feel like I want to pay $5-6 for an album that I'm not all that interested in, just to have it on vinyl, when I don't enjoy the music. So I could think that this for $1, now I have it. And this one was interesting. This is a compilation released on Polydor, but it looks pretty low budget. David Bowie Rock Reflections. But it is a compilation of his songs from 1966 to 1970. And then we're not talking about Ziggy Stardust and Spider from Mars and so on. This is songs that I never heard of any of these. So this is going to be very, very interesting. Only $1, that also. Like all of these. Now, jazz. The rest is jazz. Managed to find, this is an interesting series, Giant of Jazz Immortal Concerts. This one is from 1963 with Dave Brubeck Quartet and Paul Desmond. A live concert from Carnegie Hall. Listen to some parts of this, and it sounds very, very interesting. Giant of Jazz is normally a low-budget label that releases a whole lot of best of the best songs with the best artists and so on. But they actually have some albums that is a bit different, and among those are these Immortal Concert releases. That not always is complete concerts, but still it's really fun to have. I found also more Dave Brubeck. This jazz club looks really, really low budget, but I have one from this label before, and it's really, really they can release some really odd stuff. I have one with Coleman Hawkins with recordings just from his days when he stayed in France. This is Dave Brubeck with Paul Desmond still, with some songs that I actually didn't have. Unfortunately, it doesn't say when it's made, but at least it have info of which musician that is on. Jerry Mulligan is also here, so very interesting indeed. Found a lot of Count Basie. We have this Kansas City 6. It's a Pablo release, Norman Grant's label. Recorded in 1981 with a sextet. Count Basie, Joe Pass, Niels Henning Osted Petersen from Denmark, Eddie Winton and Louis Belson. I guess it is a late version of trying to rebuild their Kansas City 6 fame from the 30s. And here comes Kansas City 7 with this was released from 1980. Recorded in 1980, sorry. Count Basie, J.J. Johnson, Freddie Hubbard, Eddie Locke, Joe Davis, John Hurd, and Jake Hanna. This one I listened to, it swings really, really good, so highly recommended. Also on Pablo. While we're at it, we're moving in from Count Basie to Oscar Peterson. Managed to find this one, Timekeepers. Count Basie meets Oscar Peterson. Japanese release on CD. Also Pablo. Even says in Japanese on the here on the side. Let's see, now we go continuing with Oscar Peterson. Oscar Peterson plays Count Basie on his own with Herb Ellis, Ray Brown and Buddy Rich from 1955. And we have here Benny Carter meets Oscar Peterson, Joe Pass, Martin Drew and Dave Young. Recorded in 1986. Release also on Pablo, a whole lot of Pablo. Was this Erik Hjälpen guy had come in with a whole lot of jazz CDs. More piano, Errol Garner. This is from the CBS Jazz Masterpiece series that I actually like a lot. Errol Garner, Long Ago and Far Away. And Errol Garner again. This is from one of these Immortal concerts. Errol Garner in two different sets, two different recordings. One from Carmel, California in 1955, one from Seattle, 1969. And this is actually concerts are aside from the Dave Brubeck that also was released on Immortal Concerts. This one is with talk in the middle of the songs and applause and so on. So it's more complete in my opinion, but still really great to have these Immortal Concert series. More piano, whole lot of piano. Bud Powell, Summer Sessions with Charlie Parker, Art Taylor and Charlie Mingus. Charlie Parker is on a couple of tracks here, but it's also the majority is with the trio. Recordings from the summer of 1953. Really, really interesting. Bebop at its greatest. I actually forgot one. Oscar Peterson. This one. A Jazz Hour With series. The Jazz Hour With series are sometimes really good, but also sometimes so-so. But I always keep an eye on them because it can be some really great stuff here. This is Oscar Peterson Trio, the traditional one with the Ray Brown and Thigpen, recording live in Europe 1965, also with applause and everything. More complete concert, like Someone in Love, not to be confused with the Duke Ellington album he released in the same title. And you see this, I always keep a red thread through everything. From when I mentioned Duke Ellington and Oscar Peterson, we go to Duke Ellington. This is also Jazz Masterpiece, CBS Jazz Masterpiece release. Ellington at Newport. I have gained, as I said in my video of rules when I buy records, I've gained a new respect for Duke Ellington because of his suites. He has released so many great suites and also so many great records where he plays solo that I managed to forget all about these overplayed songs, Sea Jam Blues, Take the A Train, but he released so many great stuff. This is a live concert, also with introduction and everything. We replace the Newport Jazz Festival Suite. and also a couple of other songs also that I have never heard of. Really interesting. This is a quick peek. Sounds really great. Recorded in 1956. Now moving from the piano to horns. Another immortal concert with Dizzy Gillespie Sextet from Paris, 1953. Sarah Vaughan is also doing some vocal here on one song. And a couple of Scott Hamilton artists that I'm starting to enjoy more and more. We have here the grand appearance recorded in 1978 with Hank Jones, George Mraz. Isn't there a soul singer named Jason Mraz? Is his father or something like that? I don't know. Tommy Flanagan, who replaces Hank Jones in one song, and Connie Kay from the Modern Jazz Quartet. We're talking about real great swing. I listened to this one. It's a really great swing music in a modern style. And we have here a live concert, Scott Hamilton Quintet in concert. And we have Chris Flory, John Bunch, Phil Flanagan, and Chuck Riggs. And we also have Japanese clarinetist Eiji Kitamura in one song also, a bonus track with him. And it's recorded in Japan, 1983, in Tokyo. So when it comes to jazz CDs, I'm more than satisfied. Really great month for jazz CDs. When it comes to July overall, I was hoping for more, but who knows what happens in July? What happens in August? August will be very interesting. So, and the weather here is still very warm. The heat goes on, even though there are some days now that will come with some rain and thunder, but still the temperature will be pretty high. So I will do next, I think, will be a continuing of my travel log. So until next time, I hope that each and every one of you have a really nice time, no matter where you are, no matter what you do in the summer heat. Take care, stay cool, and see ya.